Imagine losing a $100 million empire over a text message, or having your divorce therapy tapes leaked for the world to hear. These are the real-life stories of R&B legends whose private lives became public disasters. We're exposing the affairs that almost cost them everything, starting with a scandal that ended a marriage on live TV. 1. Usher. Usher is the undisputed king of R&B from the 2000s. His album Confessions sold over 20 million copies. It was a masterpiece all about a man cheating on his partner. Many people thought he was singing about his breakup with Chili from TLC. But what's easy to miss is that his real-life drama, the stuff that almost ended his career, came years later. Usher got married to his stylist, Tamika Foster, and to put it mildly, the public was not on board. The relationship was messy from the start, and the divorce was even worse. It wasn't just a breakup, it was an all-out war. They went to court to fight over their 2 young sons. The battle was long, public, and incredibly dirty. Here's the part that almost broke him. The custody battle was a media circus. There were claims and counterclaims, and the whole world was watching. What many overlooked is the sheer cost. This wasn't just an emotional toll. The legal fight cost Usher over $1 million in fees. At one point, the judge even temporarily gave Tamika full custody, and Usher lost his sons. It was a massive blow to his family man image, and it took him years to recover. Usher's fight was public, but the next star tried to keep her new love quiet. The only problem? The whole world found out he was already married. 2. Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys has always been the good girl of R&B. With her powerful voice and amazing piano skills, she was a role model. She sang about falling in love and being a superwoman. That's why it was so shocking when her own love life became a huge scandal. In the late 2000s, Alicia started being seen with a new man, the super producer Swizz Beatz. They looked great together, but there was one massive problem. Swizz was still married to his wife, a singer named Mashonda. This was not a clean break. Mashonda went public, writing open letters online about how Alicia was a part of breaking up her home. She claimed Alicia was a homewrecker. The public turned on Alicia fast. They felt she was a hypocrite, singing about love while allegedly stealing someone's husband. The thing nobody tells you is how much this hurt her career. Her album, The Element of Freedom, released during the scandal, saw a big dip in sales. In fact, its sales dropped by about 20% compared to her previous hits. Fans were torn, and for a while, Alicia's perfect image was deeply cracked. Alicia faced public anger, but our next star faced betrayal from her own husband, and the proof was shocking. 3. Tamar Braxton. Tamar Braxton always lived her life out loud. She was the breakout star of the reality show Braxton Family Values, and even had her own spin-off, Tamar and Vince, with her husband and manager, Vince Herbert. They seemed like a power couple, but it was all about to fall apart. In 2017, rumors started swirling that Vince was not being faithful. This wasn't just a quiet rumor. It exploded when claims surfaced that Vince had a secret relationship that led to a child with another woman. Tamar was humiliated. She filed for divorce, and all the behind-the-scenes drama became public. What many didn't expect was how fast the empire crumbled. Leaked text messages painted a picture of a toxic marriage. The scandal was so bad that their reality show, Tamar and Vince, was canceled. That show was a huge part of Tamar's career and income. The secret lover didn't just end her marriage, it ended her TV show and put her entire career on hold. Tamar's TV empire crumbled, but the next singer's album was stolen by someone she trusted. 4. K. Michelle. K. Michelle has one of the most powerful and soulful voices in modern R&B, but her road to fame was incredibly difficult. In the mid-2000s, she was a struggling artist just trying to get her music heard. She got a big break and signed a record deal, working with a producer who was supposed to help her make her debut album. But here's the kicker. The person she trusted with her music and her money betrayed her. K. Michelle has said that the producer took the money from the record label, the funds meant for her album, and spent it on himself. He was living a fancy lifestyle while her career was dying. Her album was completely stopped. She had no music and no money. What many overlooked is that she had to file a lawsuit to try and get her career back, but the debut album was stuck in limbo. Her career was almost over before it began. So how did she save it? She made a desperate move. She joined the reality TV show Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. It was a huge risk, but it was the only way she could tell her story and get her voice heard. The reality show fame gave her a second chance to finally release her music. K. Michelle had to fight a man for her career. Our next star had to fight two women in a public triangle. 5. Chris Brown. Chris Brown was supposed to be the next Michael Jackson. He could sing, he could dance, and he had hit after hit. But his entire career was almost destroyed by a terrible incident with his then-girlfriend, Rihanna. That one night changed his public image forever. But that was only the start of his romantic drama. After the incident, Chris moved on to a new girlfriend, Karrueche Tran, but he couldn't stay away from Rihanna. For years, he was in a very public love triangle, bouncing back and forth between the two women. The media loved it, but it made him look messy and unstable. The real breaking point, the one that ended things with Karrueche for good, was a secret lover nobody knew about. Karrueche found out online, with the rest of the world, that Chris Brown had a secret daughter, Royalty, with another woman named Nia Guzman. He had a baby behind her back. This wasn't just a personal betrayal, it was a career disaster. Major brands like Pepsi and Got Milk had already dropped him after the Rihanna incident. This new drama proved he was still a risky person to work with, and he lost out on millions in endorsements. Chris Brown's love life was a public circus, but the next star's private therapy tapes from her divorce became a public show. 6. Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is a legend and icon, but her marriage to music executive Tommy Mottola in the 90s was famously controlling. When she finally broke free, she eventually found what seemed like a fairy tale romance with host Nick Cannon. They got married on a whim and had twins. It looked perfect, but by 2014, the fairy tale was over. The couple was heading for a divorce, and things got ugly, fast. Nick Cannon started talking. He went on the radio and listed other famous women he had been with. Mariah was reportedly furious that he was being so public, but almost nobody realized at the time how bad it really was. The secret part wasn't another lover, but the secret recordings of their fights. Reports came out that during their divorce, therapy tapes and private recordings were being leaked. These were tapes of Nick talking to his team and Mariah in therapy, all being used as weapons in the divorce. It was a shocking look behind the curtain. The woman who sang "We Belong Together" was having her most private moments exposed. It was a messy public battle that threatened to overshadow her legendary status. Mariah's private moments were leaked. Our next star's private pain became a public courtroom drama. 7. Fantasia. Fantasia. Barrino won American Idol and the hearts of millions. Her story of being a single mom with a powerhouse voice was inspiring. But her life after Idol was filled with turmoil, especially when it came to love. In 2010, Fantasia was deep in a relationship with a man named Antoine Cook. He was supportive, and she seemed happy. But there was a secret. He was still married. This wasn't just a rumor. The man's wife, Paula Cook, filed a lawsuit against Fantasia. But this wasn't a normal lawsuit. she used an old, strange law called the Alienation of Affection Law, which is only legal in a few states. This law basically lets you sue the person who stole your spouse. Fantasia was branded a homewrecker in court and in the news. The pressure was immense. It all became too much for the young singer. The stress led to an act of deep despair, a desperate cry for help that landed her in the hospital. Calls for boycotts of American Idol came out if she was involved. Her career and her life were on the edge, all because of a hidden relationship. Fantasia's private pain was put on trial, but the next star's husband was the one on trial for spending her money on his new girlfriend. 8. Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige is the queen of hip-hop soul. Her music is all about pain, survival, and strength. She sang about no more drama, but in 2016, her life became nothing but drama. She filed for divorce from her husband and manager, Martin Kendu Isaacs. At first, it seemed like a normal breakup, but the real reason soon came out. Mary accused Kendu of being unfaithful, and not just with anyone. She claimed he was having an affair with an artist she was mentoring, an artist that Mary was reportedly funding, named Starshell. The betrayal was twofold. Her husband was cheating, and he was using her money to do it. But here's the kicker. In the divorce papers, Kendu demanded an unbelievable amount of spousal support, over $100,000 a month. He claimed he was used to a certain lifestyle. Mary fought back, claiming he spent her money on his new lover. The divorce dragged on for 2 years, costing her a fortune. The final settlement is secret, but it's rumored to be a $20 million blow to her finances. The drama even delayed her album, Strength of a Woman. Mary's divorce cost her millions. Our next star's secret love cost him his most famous friendship. 9. Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown was the bad boy of R&B. He left New Edition and became a huge solo star. His personal life was always wild, but his biggest scandal was, of course, his toxic marriage to the legendary Whitney Houston. Their relationship was a storm of public fights and bad behavior. But what many don't know is about the secret lovers before Whitney. In his own tell-all book, Bobby dropped a bombshell. He claimed that back in the 80s, he had a secret and intense affair with another music icon, Janet Jackson. According to Bobby, he was deeply in love with her, but she wouldn't make their relationship public because of her family and her image. He even claimed she told him he wasn't good for her. The thing nobody tells you is that this wasn't just a fling. Bobby claimed he was so heartbroken over Janet that it pushed him toward Whitney. He said his relationship with Whitney exploded so publicly, in part because he was still hurt over Janet. This secret love may have been the starting point for the most infamous and tragic marriage in music history. Bobby's past romance may have doomed his future, but the next star's future romance was doomed by a promise he broke. 10. Ne-Yo. Ne-Yo is known for being a true gentleman. He wrote hit songs for himself and for stars like Beyoncé. He presented himself as a smooth, respectful family man, especially in his marriage to Crystal Renee. They had a beautiful family and even had a reality show. But in 2002, Crystal filed for divorce, and the reason she gave was shocking. She posted a long message online accusing Ne-Yo of being unfaithful for their entire 8-year marriage. She claimed he was living a double life and had stepped out on her with numerous women. But the real secret lover scandal was even wilder. It turned out Ne-Yo had a baby with another woman while he was still married to Crystal. Here's the part that is truly unbelievable. Years earlier, Ne-Yo had publicly stated he got a vasectomy, a medical procedure to prevent having more children, because his wife didn't want any more. He had broken that promise in the most extreme way. His ex-wife, Crystal, was so hurt by the deception that she sued him, not just for divorce, but for the emotional distress caused by his lies and his secret child. Ne-Yo's broken promise led to a new baby. The next star's broken promises led to a series of nasty diss tracks. 11. Ciara. Ciara was on top of the world. She was an R&B princess with hits like Goodies and 1-2 Step. In 2013, she got engaged to the rapper Future. They were a hip-hop power couple and soon had a baby son named Future Jr. It seemed like a perfect life. Then, just 3 months after their son was born, Ciara suddenly called off the engagement. The wedding was off. Fans were confused. Why so suddenly? The truth came out in leaks and rumors. Future had allegedly been unfaithful to Ciara while he was on tour. And the secret lover was not just a random person. The rumors claimed it was his own stylist, the person paid to dress him. The breakup was not quiet. It exploded into one of the messiest feuds in music. Future and Ciara started firing shots at each other in interviews and on social media. They even made diss tracks, or songs, aimed at each other. The scandal was so bad that Ciara lost endorsements, as brands didn't want to be associated with the drama. Her career stalled until she met her future husband, Russell Wilson, and rebooted her entire image. Ciara's feud was with her ex, but the next star's feud was with his own bandmate, who stole his girlfriend. 12. Omarion. Omarion was the lead singer of the hugely popular 2000s boy band B2K. After the group split, he had a successful solo career. For years, he was in a public relationship with April Jones, and they had 2 children together. Their life was featured on the reality show Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Then they broke up. And what happened next was one of the most disrespectful moves in R&B history. April Jones didn't just move on. She started dating Omarion's own B2K bandmate, Lil Fizz. To make it worse, they flaunted their new relationship all over Love and Hip Hop right in front of Omarion. The secret relationship became the main storyline, and Omarion was humiliated on national TV. What many overlooked is the professional fallout. At the time, B2K was in the middle of a hugely successful Millennium Tour. It was a massive comeback. But because of the drama between Omarion and Lil B2K, the tour was thrown into chaos. Fans were furious. The drama with the secret lover completely destroyed the band's reunion, and the tour was canceled, costing the members millions. That betrayal ended a tour, but our next star's betrayal inspired a whole album. 13. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was the Prince of Motown, a musical genius. His personal life, however, was a total mess. His first marriage was to Anna Gordy, the sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy. Their relationship was passionate but full of fighting and cheating on both sides. By 1976, the marriage was over, and they had to figure out the divorce. But Marvin was in a tight spot. He owed a lot of money and couldn't afford to pay Anna the support she was owed. So, his lawyer came up with a wild idea. Marvin would record a new album, and Anna would get half of all the money it made, a total of $300,000. But Marvin wasn't going to just make any album. He was angry. He went into the studio and recorded Here My Dear, a 72-minute-long album all about their bitter breakup, his affairs, and how much he resented her. It was a musical divorce settlement. What started as a way to pay off a debt from his affairs became one of the most raw and honest breakup albums of all time. Marvin's life was full of drama, but it ended in a family tragedy that started with a terrible fight with his father, which tragically ended his life. But our next star's marriage was ended on live TV. 14. Eric Benet. Eric Benet was a smooth neo-soul singer with a hit song, Spend My Life With You. In 2001, he married one of the most beautiful and successful women in the world, actress Halle Berry. They were a stunning couple, but just 2 years later, the marriage was over. Rumors flew that Eric had been unfaithful. He denied it. Then Halle Berry went on television for an interview. The host asked her about the breakup, and Halle confirmed it. She told the world that Eric had cheated on her, not just once, but multiple times. She was dumping him live on TV. The public was shocked. Eric's career was immediately damaged. He was now the guy who cheated on Halle Berry. It got even worse when he tried to explain. He released a statement claiming he wasn't just a cheater. He had a compulsion, a serious personal problem he couldn't control. This excuse made him look even worse. His music career never fully recovered from being publicly outed as a serial cheater. Eric's problem cost him his marriage, but the next star's problem cost him his entire family. 15. Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight is a legend of 90s R&B. He's known for his smooth ballads and romantic songs. He was also known as a family man, with 2 children from his first marriage, Brian Jr. and Nico. But in the 2010s, Brian got remarried and started a new family. And as he did, he began to publicly distance himself from his older children. It was strange. The truth was darker. It was revealed that Brian had a secret child from an affair years ago, a son named. He had allegedly kept this child a secret for a long time. But here's the unbelievable part. As he got closer to his new wife and new baby, he completely disowned his original children. He has publicly said that Brian Jr. and Nico are not his family. He calls his new stepdaughter his one and only daughter, ignoring his biological daughter, Brianna. The family drama exploded. His own children called him out online for his abandonment. His secret past and his cold-hearted new attitude created a family war. There were calls for boycotts of his music, and his family reunion was just a public fight. Brian disowned his kids over his new life, but the next star's hidden past almost ruined his 17-year relationship. 16. Miguel. Miguel is known for his unique, edgy R&B. For his entire career, he was with one person, his high school sweetheart, Nazanin Mandi. They were together for 17 years, a rare, long-lasting love story in the music industry. They finally got married in 2018. It was a beautiful story, until it wasn't. Just a few years after getting married, they filed for divorce. Fans were stunned. What could go wrong after 17 years? The truth is, the secret lover wasn't a new one, it was an old one. After the divorce filing, Miguel admitted in his music and in interviews that he hadn't always been faithful. He confessed that early in their 17-year relationship, long before they got married, he had stepped out on her. He thought those old mistakes were buried, but the thing nobody tells you is that those early betrayals created cracks in the foundation of their relationship. Even though they stayed together and got married, the damage was already done. His wife couldn't get over his past. That secret from over a decade ago was the ticking time bomb that eventually dissolved their 17-year love story. Miguel's past came back to haunt him. But the next star had so many secret lovers, they couldn't even count them. 17. Ray Charles. Ray Charles was a true genius. He invented soul music and broke down every barrier he ever faced. He was also famous for being a ladies' man, but ladies' man doesn't even begin to cover it. Ray was married twice, but he had a constant string of secret lovers his entire life. He was always on the road, and he was always with other women. This wasn't just a rumor, it was a fact of his life. But here's the wow factor. When Ray Charles passed away in 2004, the full scale of his secret life was revealed. His lawyers had to settle his estate, his massive fortune, And when they did, they found a shocking number. Ray Charles had 12 children from 10 different women. Most of these children were from short affairs, women he met on the road. He had supported them quietly, but now it was all public. His death kicked off a huge inheritance war as all these secret families came forward. It was a chaotic end to a legendary life, revealing that his true secret was that he had entire families hidden from the public eye. Ray's secret lovers caused a war over his money, but the next star's secrets caused a war over his music. 18. R. Kelly. For decades, R. Kelly was the undeniable king of R&B. He wrote, produced, and sang some of the biggest hits of the 90s and 2000s. But his entire career, there were dark rumors and stories bubbling just under the surface. While he was publicly releasing songs like I Believe I Can Fly, his private life was filled with entanglements and questionable relationships. He had multiple affairs and messy situations that were constantly being whispered about in the industry. But the real trouble started long before his major legal battles. The rumors about his behavior with women became so loud that the public began to turn on him. What many overlooked is that this wasn't just a fan backlash, it was a corporate one. Years before he was canceled, radio stations around the world were making a choice. Many programs and stations put a lifetime ban on his music. They muted him, refusing to play his songs no matter how popular they were. This was a huge financial hit and the true beginning of his career's end, all stemming from the secrets he could no longer keep. R. Kelly's career was built on a shaky foundation, but our next star's entire empire was threatened by one lawsuit from an ex. 19. Diddy. Shannon Diddy Combs isn't just a rapper. He's a $100 million mogul. He built an empire with Bad Boy Records, Ciroc Vodka, and Sean John Clothing. He seemed untouchable. For 11 years, his most public relationship was with the singer Cassie. When they broke up, it seemed peaceful until 2023. Cassie filed a bombshell lawsuit against Diddy that shook the entire music world. The lawsuit was filled with shocking claims about their relationship. It painted a picture of a dark, controlling, and manipulative partnership that was the opposite of what they showed the public. The claims were so explosive that Diddy's entire empire was at risk. Brands started to back away. His reputation as a girl dad and a powerful businessman was crumbling. But here is the most shocking part. The lawsuit asked for a massive $100 million, but it never even went to court. Diddy settled the lawsuit in one single day. To many people, that fast settlement was an admission of guilt. He wanted the story to go away, but the damage was done. Boycotts of his brands began, and his empire was suddenly on the verge of collapse. Diddy's empire was rocked by one person's story. But our final story is about a secret that was taken to the grave only to be revealed after a tragedy. 20. Aaliyah. Aaliyah was the princess of R&B. She was an angel with a smooth voice and even smoother dance moves. Her career was just exploding into superstardom when her life was tragically cut short in a plane crash in 2001. The world was heartbroken, but as people looked back on her short life, a dark secret came to light, a secret that had been buried for years. When Aaliyah was just 15 years old, she was being mentored by R&B star R. Kelly. He was 27. Behind her parents' backs, the two of them flew to Illinois and got secretly married. The marriage certificate, which was later leaked, was a lie. It falsely claimed that Aaliyah was 18. When her parents found out, they were horrified. They immediately had the marriage annulled. It was all kept, quiet to save her young career. This secret haunted her legacy. After she passed, the story became a huge part of her life's narrative. It made fans and critics look at her early music and her relationship with her mentor in a much different, darker light. It was a shocking secret that added a layer of deep tragedy to a life that was already cut short.
What if I told you that some of the biggest action stars were secretly gay, living a life Hollywood desperately tried to erase? Behind the roaring engines, explosive fight scenes, and perfect on-screen romances, these stars were hiding their true selves, trapped in a world where revealing their sexuality could destroy everything they'd worked for. In a time when being gay meant the end of a career, these men navigated fame with a mask of straightness, their personal lives buried under layers of secrecy. Here are 20 action stars whose hidden truth could have shattered their careers, if it ever got out. Number 20. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was the epitome of Hollywood's golden boy, the ruggedly handsome heartthrob adored by millions. But behind the flawless exterior, Hudson harbored a secret that could have destroyed his career if it ever got out. In a time when being gay meant instant ruin, Hudson's relationships with men were kept hidden from the public eye. The studios worked tirelessly to maintain his ladies' man image, feeding the public's desire for a perfect, all-American star. But when AIDS tragically claimed his life, the truth finally came crashing into the spotlight. His death exposed a life lived in fear, a secret so carefully guarded that it couldn't be hidden forever. Rock Hudson's story wasn't just about stardom, it was about survival in a world that demanded silence. Number 19. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, with his impeccable charm and debonair looks, was the definition of a ladies' man. But behind closed doors, his closest relationship was with fellow actor Randolph Scott, sparking rumors that would follow him for decades. The world saw a suave, sophisticated heartthrob on the screen, but the truth was far more complex. Despite the Hollywood studios working overtime to protect his public persona, whispers of Grant's true sexual orientation never truly disappeared. It wasn't just the public's fascination with his on-screen romances, it was the untold story behind the scenes. The pressure to maintain his straight image weighed heavily on Grant, who never publicly confirmed the rumors. His personal life remained a well-guarded secret, but the question remains, how much of his life was truly his own? Number 18. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was more than just a screen legend. He was an enigma. His performances were raw, intense, and unforgettable, but they hid a much deeper personal story. Brando was known for his passionate relationships with both men and women, yet he never publicly confirmed the rumors that swirled around his sexuality. Hollywood's biggest bad boy was also a man who had to play by the industry's rules, which meant hiding parts of himself that would have ruined him. Brando's private life was a labyrinth of contradictions, one that his fans never fully understood. His story remains one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. Was he just a genius actor, or was there a truth lurking beneath the surface that he couldn't reveal? Number 17. Peter Lawford. Peter Lawford, the charming member of the Rat Pack, was a man of many faces. On the outside, he exuded sophistication, mingling with Hollywood's elite and maintaining his position as a beloved heartthrob. But his true self was something else entirely. Lawford's private life was a well-kept secret. He had relationships with both men and women, yet his public persona never hinted at this hidden reality. The studios worked hard to protect his image, knowing that any exposure could have been career-ending. Lawford's suave socialite persona was a carefully crafted illusion, one that hid his truth behind the curtains of Hollywood's glittering facade. What was the cost of living in the closet for so long? His career was built on secrecy and survival. Number 16. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was the swashbuckling hero everyone adored. The charming, fearless man of action who captured the hearts of audiences worldwide. But behind the scenes, his life was anything but simple. Flynn's flamboyant personality and close bonds with male friends fueled rumors that he was far more than just a ladies' man. He was a man living a double life, playing the role of the heartthrob while concealing his true identity. Hollywood may have celebrated his on-screen exploits, but Flynn's personal life was filled with complexities that couldn't be erased. He was forced to wear a mask, one that hid the real man beneath the bravado. Could the true Errol Flynn have been just as iconic had the world known the real story? Number 15. James Mason. James Mason's career was built on sophistication and suave charm, but the man behind the roles remained a mystery. Known for his portrayal of cultured, polished characters, Mason's personal life was a tightly guarded secret. His friendships with men, some of them notably close, sparked speculation about his sexuality. Yet Mason never spoke about it. He never confirmed the whispers. In Hollywood, where public perception was everything, Mason kept his truth hidden, fearing the consequences of revealing his true self. The industry had a way of burying the most uncomfortable truths, and for Mason, silence was his shield. His story remains a quiet testament to the price of secrecy in a world where image was everything. Number 14. Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster was the quintessential tough guy, rugged, masculine, and the perfect leading man in every sense. On the outside, he lived the dream: powerful roles, a beloved star status, and a reputation as a ladies' man. But privately, Lancaster's life was far more complex. His sexual orientation was a subject of whispers and rumors within Hollywood circles, yet the man himself never addressed it publicly. Lancaster lived in the shadow of his public persona, keeping his true self under wraps to protect his career. The price of fame in a time of deep societal restrictions meant silence, and Lancaster paid that price every day. What would his legacy have looked like if the truth had come to light? Number 13. Anthony Quinn. Anthony Quinn was the powerful force behind some of Hollywood's most iconic roles, known for his performances in Zorba the Greek and Lawrence of Arabia. But while his career soared, his personal life remained a closely guarded secret. Although he was married twice, rumors of his romantic liaisons with men circulated in whispers. Quinn's story was one of survival, as he kept his private life tightly sealed, knowing that any hint of his true identity could have shattered his career. Hollywood wasn't kind to those who strayed from the expected norms, and Quinn understood the stakes. His truth was never fully revealed, leaving his personal story to remain one of Hollywood's many untold secrets. Number 12. Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero may have been Hollywood's original Latin lover, but his real life was far more complicated than his on-screen personas suggested. Best known for playing the Joker in the 1960s Batman series, Romero was adored by fans for his smooth charm and good looks. Yet, despite his on-screen romantic roles, Romero never married, and rumors about his sexuality dogged him throughout his life. He never publicly addressed the speculation, choosing instead to live his life in secrecy. His fame as a ladies' man may have been a carefully cultivated image, but the true story of his life remains a mystery, hidden behind the mask of Hollywood's expectations. What drove Romero to keep his truth buried for so long? Number 11. Ramon Novarro. Ramon Novarro was one of Hollywood's brightest stars during the silent film era, a heartthrob who captivated audiences with his charm and talent. But his rise to fame was also marked by a painful secret. Novarro's Mexican heritage, combined with his hidden sexuality, made his Hollywood journey perilous. In an industry where public image was everything, Novarro was forced to live a double life, concealing his true identity to protect his career. The pressures of hiding who he truly was eventually caught up with him, leading to a tragic end. Novarro's story is one of heartbreak, as the world saw a star but never truly understood the man behind the screen. Number 10. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo lit up the screen in Rebel Without a Cause, capturing hearts with his intensity and vulnerability. But behind that rising star was a young man living in fear. For years, Mineo kept his sexuality hidden, terrified that the truth would end his career. In a time when even a whisper could destroy everything, he played the game, smiling for the cameras, hiding his reality. Later in life, he finally came out, but it was a brave step taken after years of isolation and secrecy. Tragically, his life ended too soon, just as he was stepping into his truth. What might have been had Hollywood let him live openly from the start. Number 9. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was one of the most brilliant actors of his time, but also one of the most haunted. His striking good looks and emotional depth made him a star, yet his personal life was marked by silent suffering. Clift's relationships with men were an open secret in Hollywood, but never spoken of publicly. He lived behind a mask, torn between who he was and who the world expected him to be. The emotional toll was visible in his performances, raw with pain and vulnerability. Clift never came out before his death, leaving behind a legacy of both genius and tragedy. Could he have survived the truth at a different time? Number 8. Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter had the look, the charm, and the adoration of millions. But his life was a script written by the studio, not one he could call his own. In the 1950s, Hunter was a teen idol, the boy every girl dreamed of. Behind the scenes, though his sexuality was carefully hidden, studio executives staged fake romances and media appearances to sell the fantasy, knowing that one wrong move could end his career. The fear was constant, the pressure suffocating. Hunter eventually told his story, but only decades later. His truth was buried under decades of deceit. How many others lived the same lie? Number 7. Van Johnson. Van Johnson, the golden boy of the silver screen, was known for his wholesome, all-American charm, but there was always something the cameras didn't catch. Johnson's private life was the subject of hushed whispers. Rumors of secret relationships with men swirled around him for years, yet he never addressed them, choosing to protect his carefully built image. In a Hollywood that demanded conformity, Johnson played the role expected of him, but the price was steep. How much of himself did he have to sacrifice to stay in the spotlight? Number 6. Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain was the heartthrob of millions, especially in his roles in Dr. Kildare and the Thornbirds. But for decades, he lived a double life. Chamberlain's sexuality was a carefully guarded secret, locked away for fear that the truth would destroy his career. He smiled for the cameras, gave interviews about women, and hid a part of himself for years. Only later in life did he come out, long after the industry could hurt him. His story is one of survival, but also sorrow. How different could his life have been if he hadn't been forced to hide? Number 5. George Nader. George Nader had it all, the looks, the talent, the screen presence to be a leading man, but one truth ended everything. When Nader was outed, his Hollywood dream came crashing down. Roles vanished, and the industry turned its back on him. His career was in a heartbeat, a reminder of how brutal and unforgiving the system could be. Nader never denied who he was. He simply paid the price for it. What does that say about the world he worked so hard to belong to? Number 4. Dirk Bogarde. Dirk Bogarde was a British film icon, known for his polished charm and striking performances. But his greatest relationship, his lifelong partnership with his manager, was never acknowledged publicly. Bogarde lived a life of subtle defiance, refusing to marry or conform, yet never revealing the truth either. For decades, he dodged questions, kept up appearances, and let the world believe what it wanted. Only after his death did many begin to piece together the truth of his hidden love. In the shadows of fame, how many secrets went to the grave with him? Number 3. Farley Granger. Farley Granger, best remembered for his role in Hitchcock's Rope, lived a life balanced on a knife's edge. Within his close circle, he was open about his relationships with men, but to the public, he wore a different face. Granger never officially came out, caught between acceptance in private and silence in the spotlight. Hollywood was a world of illusion, and Granger was forced to live in one of the greatest illusions of all. How does a man stay true to himself when the world demands a lie? Number 2. William Haynes. William Haynes was a trailblazer long before the world was ready. In the 1920s, he was one of Hollywood's top stars and openly gay among friends. But when the studios told him to choose between his career and his relationship, Haynes chose love. He walked away from fame rather than deny the man he loved. His stardom vanished, but he built a new life as a successful interior designer, staying true to himself until the end. Haynes didn't just survive, he thrived. Could there be a more powerful act of defiance? Number 1. Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr captivated audiences as the brilliant attorney in Perry Mason, but his off-screen life was one of carefully crafted lies. Burr never married, but that didn't stop studios from inventing stories. Fabricated wives, tragic deaths, and cover-ups, all to protect his secret. Behind the curtain, Burr had a longtime partner, but their relationship was kept hidden from the public eye. Hollywood demanded perfection, and Burr gave it at the cost of his truth. How many stories were rewritten just to fit the mold? These stars were forced to live behind masks, hiding who they truly were in a world that didn't accept them. But their stories also remind us of the power of resilience and the price of being true to oneself. In the end, their legacies are not just defined by their on-screen roles, but by their courage to live life on their terms. Who knows what might have happened if the world had been ready to accept them for who they were. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want more untold stories from Hollywood's past. Stay curious. What if I told you that some of Hollywood's most legendary action stars, known for their death-defying stunts and larger-than-life personas, met tragic ends that shocked the world? Behind the tough guy roles, the high-speed chases, and the exploding set pieces, these men faced battles far more dangerous than anything they ever encountered on screen. But not all heroes get a happy ending. Here are 10 action stars whose deaths were as shocking and tragic as the roles they played. You won't believe what happened to some of these icons. Number 10. Bruce Lee. The martial arts legend's mysterious death shocked the world. But what if everything you've been told about it was a lie? Bruce Lee collapsed suddenly at just 32 years old, at the absolute peak of his career. The official story: cerebral edema from an allergic reaction to a headache medication. But the truth is far more sinister. Lee was making enemies in Hong Kong's underworld. Some insiders whispered about Chinese gangsters putting a hit on him. Others spoke of an ancient family curse. His final hours were surrounded by scandal. He collapsed at an actress's apartment, not his own home, as initially reported. The studio scrambled to protect his image. His son Brandon later died in a freak accident on a movie set. Coincidence, or something more sinister? The Lee family deaths remain Hollywood's most disturbing unsolved mystery. Bruce died just days before the release of Enter the Dragon, the film that would have made him a global superstar, a timing so tragic it feels almost scripted. Number 9. James Dean. Hollywood's ultimate bad boy met a fate so ironic, it feels like the plot of one of his tragic films. Dean, racing his Porsche Spyder at breakneck speeds, crashed violently at a California intersection, his promising life snuffed out at just 24. But here's what they didn't tell you. Dean received a speeding ticket just hours before his death, ignoring the warning that would have saved his life. The car itself, nicknamed Little Bastard, became infamous as cursed. Parts salvaged from the wreckage reportedly caused accidents, injuries, and deaths for years afterward. Dean's broken body was so horrifically mangled that funeral attendees were spared the open casket viewing typical of the era. The ultimate tragedy? Dean's two defining films, Rebel Without a Cause and Giant, were released after his death. He never lived to see his legendary status. His famous quote, Live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse became a chilling prophecy. Dean's death was so preventable, so needless, that it haunts Hollywood to this day. Number 8. Steve McQueen. The king of cool died in a way that shattered his tough guy image forever. McQueen, who cheated death on screen countless times, couldn't escape the cancer eating him alive at just 50 years old. But here's the devastating truth Hollywood executives tried to hide. McQueen's fatal mesothelioma likely came from the asbestos in movie set insulation and the racing helmets he wore in his dangerous hobby. In his final desperate months, the action star fled to Mexico, seeking miracle cures banned in America. Coffee enemas, laetrile treatments, and mystical healing. His body, once Hollywood's symbol of rugged masculinity, wasted away beyond recognition. The final blow. After battling through experimental treatments, McQueen died from a heart attack following surgery to remove tumors. A procedure American doctors warned would kill him. His last photos, snapped by paparazzi against his will, show a bearded, unrecognizable man who'd lost his legendary physique. McQueen, who made millions performing dangerous stunts, was ultimately killed by simply breathing the air on movie sets. The studio system that made him famous ultimately contributed to his demise. Number 7. Errol Flynn. Hollywood's original swashbuckling heartthrob lived hard, played harder, and died under circumstances so scandalous they're still whispered about today. Flynn, looking decades older than his 50 years thanks to legendary alcohol and drug abuse, collapsed while trying to sell his beloved yacht. A desperate attempt to solve financial problems few knew existed. The truth? The star of Captain Blood and Robin Hood died broke, and his fortune was squandered on women, booze, and failed ventures. His autopsy revealed the body of an 80-year-old man. Decades of hard living had ravaged him from the inside out. But the circumstances surrounding his final moments were even more shocking. Flynn died in the home of a young doctor he'd just met, reportedly after a days-long party binge. His infamous last words, "I've had a hell of a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed every minute of it," mask a tragic reality. Flynn died a pariah in Hollywood, blacklisted after statutory rape trials destroyed his reputation. The studios abandoned the star who'd made them millions. His autobiography, aptly titled My Wicked, Wicked Ways, hit bookstores just days after his body was cold. Number 6. Robert Conrad. The tough guy star of the Wild Wild West survived decades of dangerous stunts only to be betrayed by his own body. Conrad built his career on a macho image, performing death-defying acts without a stuntman and challenging anyone who questioned his toughness. Few fans knew that behind his famous "knock this battery off my shoulder" commercials lurked a man battling chronic pain from injuries that would have stopped most men. Conrad's fearlessness ultimately cost him dearly. A devastating 2003 car crash left him partially paralyzed on his right side, forcing the once virile action star to use a wheelchair. A cruel fate for a man whose entire identity centered on physical prowess. Studio executives kept his health struggles hidden for years, perpetuating the myth of the indestructible action hero. Conrad spent his final years in agony from injuries sustained doing his stunts. The very things that made him famous slowly killed him. His heart finally gave out at 84 after decades of fighting his body's decline. Even in death, his legacy as television's toughest man overshadowed the physical suffering he endured in silence. Number 5. Tyrone Power. Hollywood's dashing swashbuckler died in the most dramatic way possible, collapsing during a sword fight on set at just 44 years old. But the shocking truth, Power had been complaining of chest pains for weeks before his fatal heart attack, but studio bosses forced him to continue the physically demanding role in Solomon and Sheba anyway. Power's death exposed Hollywood's darkest secret. Stars were disposable assets to be worked until they broke. The handsome actor dropped dead mid-scene opposite George Sanders, with cameras rolling. Studio executives' first concern wasn't for the dying star, but for how to salvage the expensive production. They quickly replaced him with Yul Brynner and reshot his scenes, erasing Power from the very film that killed him. Even more heartbreaking, after years of being typecast in action roles, Power had finally convinced studios to let him show his dramatic talent, a chance he never lived to fully realize. His military service during World War II, flying dangerous combat missions, weakened his heart, but Hollywood's grueling demands delivered the final blow. Studio publicity teams worked overtime to downplay how preventable his death truly was. Number 4. Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi wasn't just an actor, he was a legend. When he first appeared as Count Dracula in the 1931 classic, audiences were captivated. His thick Hungarian accent, his hypnotic stare, and that eerie charm made him an overnight sensation. But while the world saw a horror icon, behind the scenes, Lugosi was slowly sinking into a nightmare of his own. Typecasting became his curse. After playing Dracula, Lugosi found it nearly impossible to get roles outside the horror genre. Directors didn't want the man, just the monster. And when horror temporarily fell out of favor in Hollywood, so did Lugosi. The jobs stopped coming, the lights dimmed, and the applause turned into silence. To make things worse, Lugosi suffered from sciatica, a painful nerve condition that left him in constant agony. Doctors prescribed him morphine, and soon the addiction took hold. It wasn't long before he was dependent both on the drug and on whatever scraps of work he could find. Desperate to survive, Lugosi ended up working with Ed Wood, a man famously dubbed the worst director in film history. The once revered actor was now starring in ultra-low-budget, cringeworthy films like Plan 9 from Outer Space. It was humiliating, but it was all he had. No big studio came to his rescue. No one cared. When Lugosi died of a heart attack at 73, he had nothing. Not even enough money for his burial. In a haunting twist, he was buried wearing his Dracula cape, not as a final honor, but because his family hoped the publicity stunt would help cover funeral costs. It worked. Frank Sinatra, upon hearing the heartbreaking story, stepped in and paid for the service. Meanwhile, Lugosi's longtime rival, Boris Karloff, who played Frankenstein's monster, continued to enjoy steady work and respect in his final years. The contrast couldn't be more tragic. Lugosi's downfall is more than just a sad story. It's a brutal reminder of how fast Hollywood forgets its heroes once they're no longer useful. His tragic ending remains one of the industry's darkest secrets. Number 3. Vic Morrow. The death of veteran action star Vic Morrow wasn't just tragic. It was a catastrophe that exposed Hollywood's darkest, most criminal secrets. Morrow, known for his tough guy roles in action-packed scenes, met his end during the filming of Twilight Zone, the movie in 1982. While attempting to save 2 illegally hired child actors, Morrow was decapitated by a helicopter blade during a dramatic Vietnam War scene. What makes this tragedy even more haunting is that it was entirely preventable. Morrow's death was caught on camera, exposing the deep-rooted negligence and dangerous practices hidden behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. The accident unfolded while the children, aged 6 and 7, were filming in the middle of the night at around 2:30 a.m. under perilous conditions. They had been hired under the table to avoid the necessary work permits, bypassing child labor laws. The stunt that Morrow was performing was a high-risk sequence involving a helicopter flying dangerously close to the actors. Morrow had repeatedly expressed concerns about the safety of the scene, but he was pressured by director John Landis to proceed. The director had knowingly broken multiple safety regulations and failed to secure proper permits, all to get the explosive, dramatic shots he was after. The incident rocked the industry and sparked an investigation. However, despite the severity of the accident, the resulting trial ended in acquittals for Landis and the other filmmakers involved, proving once again that Hollywood often prioritizes its interests over the safety of its actors. For Morrow, who had been hoping for a career comeback, the tragedy became a somber, cautionary tale. The horrific nature of his death meant that his family, including his estranged daughter, actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, learned of the loss through news reports. The footage of Morrow's death remains locked away, a chilling reminder of the industry's darkest secrets and the extreme lengths it sometimes goes to for the sake of a memorable scene. Even in death, Hollywood protected its own, leaving Morrow's legacy tied to a preventable tragedy that the world could never fully forget. Number 2. John Garfield. He didn't die in a gunfight or go down swinging in a ring. John Garfield, star of gritty classics like Body and Soul, was brought down by something much colder: politics and fear. During the height of the McCarthy era, when Hollywood became a hunting ground for suspected communists, Garfield was dragged into the chaos. The House Un-American Activities Committee wanted names, and Garfield refused to give them. That decision would cost him everything. Studio bosses who once celebrated his every move turned their backs overnight. Offers stopped coming. His name vanished from marquees. It didn't matter that he wasn't a communist, just that he wouldn't betray others to prove it. The blacklist chewed him up and spat him out. Under the weight of public suspicion and professional exile, his personal life crumbled. His marriage fell apart, and his health, already shaky from a childhood illness, got worse. At just 39 years old, John Garfield's heart gave out. But make no mistake, he didn't die of natural causes. He was killed by stress, heartbreak, and a brutal system that demanded conformity over courage. He died alone, not on a movie set, but in a friend's apartment, his legacy smeared by cruel rumors that he'd been hiding something. But there were no secrets left, just a broken man, betrayed by the very industry he helped build. Number 1. Clark Gable. The King of Hollywood died a death shrouded in whispers and studio cover-ups that continue to this day. Gable, the legendary star of Gone with the Wind, suffered a massive heart attack at 59. But what you haven't been told is how directly his final film contributed to his death. The Misfits, which also claimed Marilyn Monroe's life shortly after, required Gable to perform grueling physical stunts in the Nevada desert heat. Despite his already failing health, studio executives desperate to finish the troubled production pushed him beyond human limits. Gable, ever the professional, refused to use a stunt double, completing physically demanding scenes that doctors had explicitly warned could kill him. The devastating truth? Gable suffered his heart attack just days after filming ended. His body finally collapsed after being pushed too far. Even more heartbreaking, Gable's wife was pregnant when he died. He never lived to see his only biological child. The studio system that had worked him to death immediately set about sanitizing the circumstances, downplaying the connection between his final film and his fatal heart attack. His legacy as Hollywood royalty was preserved, but at the cost of the truth. Gable's death marked not just the end of a star, but the end of Hollywood's golden age itself. If these tragic endings shocked you, just wait until you hear what some stars were hiding while they were alive. Hit that like button if you grew up watching any of these legends. Subscribe for more untold stories from Hollywood's hidden past, because what you think you know is only the beginning. And let us know in the comments which of these tragic deaths hit you the hardest.